If you want to know how to mod your Nintendo Switch system, you came to the right place. The technique that we're using today uses RCM, or recovery mode. So the first thing you're going to need is an unpatched switch. And I know what you're thinking, what is an unpatched switch? It's an older model of the Switch that didn't have security measures that prevent RCM from, being used for homebrew. How do you check if you have a patched or unpatched Nintendo Switch? Go to the website ismyswitchpatch.com and put in your serial number, which can be found on the bottom of your Nintendo Switch. When you put in your serial number into the website, it'll either tell you A, that your Switch is unpatched, and that means you can continue the tutorial, or it'll tell you B, that your Switch is patched, and that means you cannot continue the tutorial, and you gotta mod your Switch by other means like a mod chip or something else, which is not in this tutorial. The next thing you're gonna need is this thing called an RCM jig. I'll put the Amazon link in the description for it. It's about like $6. It's pretty easy to get. Another thing you're gonna need is a micro SD card with about 32 or more gigabytes on it. Really, you need 29, but they don't make those. So 32 or more gigabytes micro SD on it. You're also gonna need something to read the micro SD card in a computer. You're gonna need a computer too. But yeah, I use this. It's like a little USB thing. You can find them anywhere. With all the materials out of the way, let's get into the tutorial. So on your computer, you're gonna want to download a few things. Tegra RCM is the program that you use to inject the Homebrew. You're also going to want to download the 16.0.1 .rar file that I put into a Google Drive in the description. And then you also want to put your SD card into your computer using the reader. In your downloads folder, you're going to want to right click on the 16.0.1 .rar file, click extract to 16.0.1. I already have it, so I don't need to do that. After running the installer for Tegra RCM and running it, you should have this window right here. So what you're going to want to do is click the file, and you should be somewhere right here. I'm assuming it's in the downloads, 16.0.1. Same thing. Do bootloader, payloads, Hecate CT Sayer 16.6.0.2. What you're also going to want to do is download FAT32 format or GUI format from the link in the description. This will format your Switch SD into FAT32, which is the required thing for Homebrew. So what you're going to want to do is select whatever drive your Switch SD is, which I assume F. Do not do C, D, or E. You will, or maybe, don't do C. You can do D, E, or F, whichever one is your Switch SD. Label it Switch SD and do 32768. Click start. I've already done it, so I don't need to. So boom, once your Switch SD is formatted to FAT32, what you want to do is drag these that are in the 16.0.1 folder, all of these, copy them and paste them just directly into the root Switch SD folder. Now we are ready to remove the Switch SD from our computer and put it into our Nintendo Switch. So after putting your SD card with all the files on it back into your Switch, what you're going to want to do is take your RCM jig and slide it onto your right Joy-Con slot. My screen is mirrored right now, but slide onto your right Joy-Con slot. You're going to want to make sure that in Tegra RCM GUI, that auto inject is check marked, so it'll make your life way easier. So what you're going to want to do now is you want to hold the plus button on your Switch, plug in your Switch into the computer, and then push plus. And if I'm not mistaken, your Switch should boot into the system, and the Tegra RCM should check mark. So boom, once you're here, you can disconnect your computer from this. You can disconnect from the computer. You can take the jig off, so you can use your right Joy-Con if you want. And from here, you are booted. So the screen might seem a little scary at first, but as long as you follow what I say, you should be chilling. So to prevent yourself from getting banned, what you're gonna want to do is click MUMMC to create MUMMC. You're gonna do SD file. And it's gonna load, it's gonna download, and you're gonna want it to load. So for me, it's 29 gigabytes, but it could vary depending on the person. Wait for this to load. Once the MUMMC has been created, you want to press launch and then do MUMMC, and it'll launch you into the Homebrew Switch. Once you launch the MUMMC, you will be in the Homebrew Switch. To access your Homebrew stuff, you need to launch the album or hold down the R button on your Joy-Con while launching a game. No apps will be pre-installed, unfortunately, but if you want a tutorial for downloading apps, I can do that in the future. If you're having trouble with any of this, hit me up in the comments down below. I will provide you with any information that you might need. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.